This is Valve's new invite-only MOBA, Deadlock, and in this game, you play here. But where exactly is here? Every single player looks at the screen like this. Nothing wrong about it until you notice that most of what you're looking at is only like a third of the map. That takes almost this much of the map unattended to your very own eyes, and not to mention that you're probably not even going to pay attention to this at all. This makes it so that the here is relative because most people don't even take in the environment they're playing in if it doesn't even fit in the game's objective, and it leads people to miss things such as this really cool view of the bridge inspired by the infamous Dumbo photo stop near the Manhattan Bridge, and these quaint advertisements that advertise some of the in-game items, which kind of reminds me of those Manco posters from TF2. These are the small little details that don't really matter to the vast majority of people, but for a guy who really likes appreciating games like me, it's kind of cool to see the length the designers went to design this beautiful game. And in this video, we're going to look at these similar moments in my gaming experience where I noticed something that's beautiful that I really wouldn't notice unless I really took my time to actually enjoy the game for its visuals. So without further ado, here are my beautiful video game places. And there's no better way to start that than my favorite game of all time, Cyberpunk 2077. In Cyberpunk, you play in Night City, one of the most immersive video game landscapes to date. And if you haven't seen it yet, boy, the city has 6 main districts, each with its own unique style, but in this video, I'll mainly focus on my favorite ones. First is this Cherry Blossom Market in the northeastern part of Westbrook. It's a traditional and grounded establishment filled with street vendors and light food. It kind of reminds me of the farmer's market if it was brimmed with neon lights and drug addicts. Across this market is my second favorite place of all of Cyberpunk, called Jig Jig Street, which in my opinion captures the beauty of Cyberpunk really well. You got these neon lights again and the foggy atmosphere and the slew of diverse people like this guy right here. And you can also hire a hooker here, which is I think a part of the beautiful Cyberpunk aesthetic that we all know of. If you want to know more about the Cyberpunk aesthetic, this place is the perfect place. You should walk around and just enjoy the view. It's definitely one of the most typical Cyberpunk places in this game. These are good places, but my favorite place of all time in this game is a place in the district of Watson called Kabuki. Kabuki takes inspiration from Hong Kong and rundown Asian aesthetics. It's one of the poorest neighborhoods in the city, and you totally can see that when you set foot in the area. If you've never been to Asia before, specifically the southeast, there's this common chaosness that's different in the Western world. This chaos is not a flaw of the whole area. In fact, I'd like to think the chaos here is a combination of a lot of unique minds represented in their own physical environments. This may result in a place that's unpleasant to look at, but is probably the most genuine thing that can ever exist. And in my opinion, this is what makes cities here somewhat charming in their own right. Kabuki draws straight inspiration from that, and as a result, it's one of the more laid-back places in Cyberpunk due to how familiar it is to me and a lot of players. It's not corporate and filled with skyscrapers, and that's a good thing because seeing them imposed in the backdrop instead of the player being in it gives you this sense of awe that you would never get in any different place in Cyberpunk. There are 2 places in Kabuki that I want to talk about. The first is the Kabuki Slums. The Slums is a place built on a hill that houses one of my favorite spots to sightsee in all of Night City. If you fast travel to Creek Loop and go straight ahead, then right, then through these alleyways, you get to arrive at my favorite view of fucking Night City. Like, look at that. It's so beautiful. But wait, there's something inherently wrong about this, and boom, holy shit, that's a lot better. Now this view of Night City at dark is just breathtaking, and I understand why Keanu Reeves said it like that, because this view, it views the city from down below, allowing us to see how big the scale really is. And it's quite poetic how a poor area like Kabuki gets the best view in all of Night City rather than the higher ups living in the big city. Kabuki at night is the most essential way to experience the sub-district. At day, the street is scattered with trash, crime, and filth, everything that makes Detroit, Michigan. But at night, the light pollution is just so much that it draws your eyes away from these problems to the beauty of the streets. When I look at this, I feel a sense of familiarity and nostalgia. It reminds me of a place that I would walk through every day. Instead, I never actually been in this road, and I'm just so geeked over some pixels. The slum area in Kabuki is particularly charming for me because it's one of the closest things our world can get to a cyberpunk aesthetic. The neon lights that crowd the street and the rundown condition of the area is just something that you might see down alleyways in Hong Kong. In fact, this building right here shows how relevant the country is to its overall design inspiration. And if you want to bask in some more of this cuteness and beauty, you want to go ahead and walk to the Kabuki market, which I think has one of the best set pieces in all of Cyberpunk. Everything here is displaced and chaotic, yet it still is one of the most attractive set pieces to look at, probably due to how easily everything else blends in together to create this really clear picture. And that picture is this gritty, gray market that is akin to places that most Asians might encounter in their own hometown. Stalls selling knockoff brands and CDs and food vendors with weird-ass people in front of them. When I walk to the Kabuki market, I can start to imagine myself reliving that childhood memory I have of just waiting for my mom to buy knockoff Gucci shirts in bulk for a whopping $5. It's so fucking cheap and you get like 10 of them. You know, this place, the Kabuki slums, the market, it's just so charming. It's unique, and it's something that affirms the idea that the chaos of a place is sometimes what makes a destination truly mesmerizing. Overall, Kabuki is super cool and you should go ahead and explore it by yourself, buy the game, yada yada. But next, we got a timeless classic, Minecraft. I know, it's quite a boring example, so I'll keep it fairly short. Minecraft is one of those simple games that I think everyone likes the aesthetic of. It's timeless, classic, and irreplaceable. But lately, I've been playing the game with shaders, and one thing that struck me was how beautiful everything really is. Normally, when you play Minecraft and you enter the biomes and stuff, it's quite normal. It's just your ordinary game. But side by side with shaders, you can tell how it looks so much different. I mean, look at my survival world here without shaders and now with it. Not only does it look different, but it feels different. And this is something that I want to highlight. Shaders is such a good complement to Minecraft because of the feeling it can bring. I'm going to use Minecraft here as an example to show that the beautiful landscapes that I'm getting at don't just mean something that looks good visually. I also try to emphasize that the beauty of a place comes from the impression you get from looking at it. It doesn't matter if it's the shittiest place you've ever seen, as long as the impression or the feeling that you get from it is something that communicates the beautiness of a place. I think it's beautiful. And looking at Minecraft with shaders, you definitely can feel something different than the normal game. It's different from that timeless look of the original, but it doesn't deviate so much that it robs it of its sole identity. Shaders adds another depth to the already classic calm vibe of Minecraft, and supported by its music, it makes you feel nostalgic for a game that was never ever meant to look like this. Talking about blocky games, here's another one that I like. It's a game called MSTAIN. MSTAIN is a surreal PS1 style horror about an evil boss taking advantage of a new recruit. When you think of low poly games, you think of lazily made titles such as chillest art horror games, and that's valid. But when I think of low poly games, I immediately think about this game. I have a video talking about what makes low poly horror so good and scary, but basically it all comes down to the feeling. Like I said, most of what we think is beautiful in games is not only coming from its visual representation, but more so because of the feeling we derive from that presentation. This is subjective from person to person, but whenever I look at games of similar style, I see a game that isn't conventionally as beautiful as other games, but the more I play it, the sooner I notice and realize that it has this really strange attractiveness to it. These games have something that the other games don't have, which is this rawness and hominess, which I think comes from the fact that most people feel nostalgic to this style. But even with people who never played during the 2000s PS1 era like I do, I can look at this and I still feel a sense of nostalgic beauty. MSTAIN is my favorite game with this type of aesthetic, and when I say I like it raw, I mean I like it fucking raw! This game is the rawest that it can ever be. It's so clumsily made as well, and even the voice actors don't even want to be in this game, but it still fits with the thematic vibe that imposter syndrome we're going for. This first area in the game sets the stage for what's about to come. This open empty space feels eerily similar to liminal horror in that it gives you the impression that you are alone and you're fucking stranded in this journey of yours. I like the tall liminal buildings here that paint the landscape, and these billboards for diegetic tutorials. You know, they just look so personalized, and the more I take shots of this area in the game, the more I feel this weird sense of calmness wash over me. Further down the road, we enter the office, which looks oddly nostalgic and quite cheerful, and I particularly like this liminal feel to it. Compared to the streets, this seems much truer to the liminal aesthetic. It doesn't look like an office, but it looks like someone's memory of an office. We then go into this long creepy hallway and we meet MSTAIN himself and travel to my favorite place in this game, the Final Sacrifice. The Final Sacrifice is a bar situated in the downtown of the MSTAIN universe. This bar presents itself as a classic and renowned establishment, something that locals know as a good spot. When we go inside, the interior gives off a smooth and cozy oldies feel. You got this classy bar top and a vintage jukebox, as well as this modest bartender here that if you do him a couple of favors, he reveals himself as a funny little snake.
He's a goddamn snake!
The bar also extends to this area where you can go inside to one of these booths to watch not only from one, but 3 animated low porno. Obviously, the game is not taking itself seriously, which if it didn't, I wouldn't have viewed it as good as I am viewing it right now. But because of this hands-off attitude, this place seems oddly intimate. Personally, I feel like this is really intimate. Like this bartender offering me a drink. It feels like as if I were to get one from a long friend that I haven't seen in a while. Or this animation in the porno booth. It's animated in a way that strikes nostalgia from those shitty cartoons in my local telly. Not the porno, but like the style of the porno. It just all seems so homey to me. And all of this paints a clear picture to what the game wants you to feel. It feels like this game is what happens if you design these spaces from memory. It's incomplete and hazy, but it's also the rawest that it can ever be, and that's so genuine. Really beautiful, in fact. But anyways, what's your favorite landscape in video games? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll give it a go. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and bye bye.